Okay, let's get started. So, good afternoon. How are you doing? Only two today? So, good afternoon, Malcolm. Okay, so take a look at the syllabus. So, last week we had the midterm exam, and then we are the module 10. So, the main topics are RDBMS, relational, the database, the model. So, after that, we will continue logical database design and the physical database design. And then, so next Friday, assignment 4 and the discussion for the due date. So please keep in mind the assignment and the discussion, okay? Any questions about schedule? Nothing? Okay. So before starting RDBMS relational database model, we have on business work. It is called how to write a database using in your application. So for example, usually if you test and check the result, you can use the workbench. Like you can create the database and the table and then insert the rows and column data, and then you can make a select statement to check. But most of them don't do that. Most of them, you can create your own software and the program. And the program, instead of you be on half of you, connect the database and then query, then return the results and then display to the monitor or file or other formats. Okay, so today I'd like to show you how to connect your application and the DBMS database. Okay, so we have two example excuse me, two examples. One is that using Java language from language, and the other one is a Python. Okay, so you didn't take Java? No, no, no. Okay, so it will be helpful if you know that how to set up the Java environment. Okay, so the Mac on campus, and also you can follow the steps that I show you. So first of all, there are a lot of the different types of IDE, like a code editor. So, but here I'd like to introduce Eclipse. So go to the www.eclipse.org. Okay, too small. Let's see. Okay, there, and then go to the down. Where is it? Eclipse. Here. So upper right side corner, click the download, and depend on your operating system, you can download. For me, I use the Windows x86 64 version. You can download and click down the button. So we are downloading the Eclipse. Let me show how to install in the virtual environment. Okay, here. So, oops. Okay, it's too small. Why? Okay, so this is a executable, it's a download file. Then double click to install. So while waiting, okay, it's time. And there are several options. So which version we will install. So the first one is just the usual, the general Java, the program. And then second one is if you are interested in the web, the development, you can install the second one, or C++ and the C develop the version. For me, I will install the normal the Java the program. Okay, and next the others are just leave it here and then click install. Okay, while installing, it takes time. Okay, so let me introduce the JDBC. So Java programming, and then if you uh, if you are using the Java program, the database, we need some kind of the bridge between your program language and then database. So the bridge is called, in Java, it's a JDBC. The JDBC called Java Database Connectivity, kind of the module, the package. So here there are lots of the functions, the methods. So your Java program can use the method to connect and to execute, to manipulate database you created already. So the JDBC is APIs, the standard for relational database access from Java. You know what the API? API is kind of the method. So if you, for example, if you add two numbers, A plus B, you have to write a code. For example, integer A 10, integer B 20 plus B, and something like that. You have to write this code to add two numbers. But API means these kind of the functions are already developed. So you don't have to know the implementation. Just, for example, sum 10, 20. When you call the function, a method like this, and then pass the arguments 10 and 20, this function add two number and then return the value, the 30. So this is an API example, okay? So to connect it, this is the Java program, and then this is a DB. In order to connect from your Java program to the database, there are a lot of process, right? You don't have to implement all of them. They are already implemented is JDBC, the module or the package. So we just call, for example, connect function to which database, what is your username, and what is the password. Just path 3 information. So this connect the method is trying to database and then return some kind of the object. The object means kind of the application you can use. The object is the entity eroded the memory. So using that the object, we are able to connect, send query, get the result, and so on and so on. So anyway, those kind of the API methods are already defined in the JDBC. This is called API example. So in this package, the Java class and interface are included in the JDBC. Okay, let's check. Where is it? Okay, so Eclipse is installed and then we can launch. So you may have this is a virtual environment, so it's slow. Okay, this is the first the window pop-up. So just leave it there. Okay. Okay, go back to the PowerPoint, and then so JDBC consists of those kind of the modules. The first one is the application and the driver manager and database driver and then data source. So what is the application? The goal of the application is like that: initiate the connection with the database and then submit the SQL statement to the DB, and also retrieve the result, perform processing, and terminate the connection. So that module, application module in our JDBC package. And then driver manager load and unload driver at the application request. The pass JDBC calls to the selected driver. So this is kind of the functions. The rules. And database driver link application to the data source, translate JDBC call to DBMS specific call, and so on and so on. So it looks like that. This is the architecture of this package. Application, and then driver manager. Driver manager manages different kind of a driver, depends on what kind of a database. Okay, so database can be different: MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, and so on and so on. So these drivers, depending on the database, can use the correct driver. Okay, so you don't have to understand in detail. So you just need to know that how to use them. Okay, so here, okay, we install Eclipse. Eclipse for what? Your Java programming. And then we already have the database. For example, general hardware, the database we already created in the MySQL workbench, right? What is missing? We need the JDBC. we need to download the JDBC, the package. Okay, so to download JDBC, go to my SQL page, then click download. Okay, and then the bottom community download. So there are several downloads option. Here, click connector J. This one, connector J. After that, the version is 9.4.0. The recent version. And select the right version depending on operating system. So if you are using Windows or the Mac, select platform independent. Okay, there are two file type, TAR or and the zip. I'd like to download the zip version, this one, then download. So click no thanks, just start my download. Okay. So the JDBC is downloaded. Okay. After that, it's the same thing. And then, okay. So this is a JDBC, the zip version, uncompressed. So this is the folder after uncompressing, and go to inside, you can find the jar file, right? Okay, that is a JDBC. So we have all of them. Eclipse for Java, and then DB we already have. Then JDBC over there. Okay. So how to combine three of them? Okay. Let me delete. So first of all, I'd like to create a empty folder. For example, like, desktop, new folder, CSCI 3245. So that folder is my working folder for this example. Okay. And then launch Eclipse. It's a 2020 is it's an older version, but it doesn't matter. You are the 2025 version. So that, select browse, then desktop, select CSCI 3245. You create it, just then select, then launch. That means that folder is my working folder. So after that, if you create a file, all kind of file and then generated files are placed, saved in this folder. Okay. This is the initial page. So that you can see empty window, something like that. And in Java, in order to create the Java program, first of all, we have to create the project. Okay, so reps pen can see create a Java project. Okay, can you see Isabel? Okay, so click Java project, and then project name is my SQL Java, or whatever you want, you can create. And then JRE, the Java, just does not change, just don't change anything. Click next. And here, create the module input.java file, uncheck. Okay, and then finish. So we create a project, empty project. Okay, so in a Java, here, we create the project, my SQL Java. Then how to include this library, the package, ADB's package to the project. So go to my SQL Java project and right click and then select build path. That configure build path, like that. And there are several menu, source, project, libraries. So select the libraries. There are module paths and then class paths. Select module path. Okay. Up in the right side, add jar, add external jar. So select add external jar. Okay. And go to the JDBC, the folder uncompressed here. And then select the jar file. Okay. Then open and apply and close. So here, reference library, so JDBC is included in the Java project. Okay. Then I'd like to create the Java file. Here, right click, new, select class. And then class name is test. And check public static void main. And finish. So that is the empty Java file. Okay. So in here, we can type, but it takes time. Go to the D12, the module where 8 can find the test, the Java file. Okay. So download test.java. Okay. Same thing. So maybe see something like this. And just copy and then paste into the test.java file in your Eclipse. too small. So here, let me introduce what does that mean of the code. So first of all, the goal is I'd like to connect general hardware database we already created in your MySQL here. So this is a URL. This is a template, something like that. Okay. And next, so our user ID root. Then next one is a password. Okay. Then so create statement. Okay. So before that, so remember the driver manager here. So manages different kind of the drivers. Okay. So this is a module and driver manager, and then this is a method. I'd like to connect general hardware, the DB, using root and 1234 as a password. Then if the statement is working well, it will then go to the next statement and then print a success. Okay, so when you run by clicking this button, the green button, so we're gonna have the output success. Success means from this Java program, connect to the general hardware, the DB. And then the success is printed. So far, so good. This is a one step from your program to connect the DB. Okay. Then for more detailed example, so if we go to D12, there are first example Java file. Okay, here in the download. So I already download the first example.java. Okay. And then it's drag and drop to source, the default package, in the copy file, click, select first example. Okay. So a little bit long, like that. So this program is to connect general hardware, the database, and then send the query. What is that? Select all columns from salesperson and then print salesperson number, salesperson name, commission percentage, year of hire, office number. So similar. This is a constant variable. The user is root password 1234. Then here, connect to the general hardware, the DB using URL, username, and password. DB URL is this one. And then root and 1234. It's the same. After that, that means your program and there's a DB and then there's a table, salesperson table. Connection means there is a, how can I say, implement kind of a pipe from your program to the DB. And then we have to create the query, select all from salesperson. And then this query send to the DB using this method, execute the query. And then SQL statement is argument. That means select all from salesperson. This query is sent to the DB using this method, execute query. So if you create SQL, SQL is sent to the DBMS. Exactly DBMS. After that, the DBMS received the SQL query and return if there is a data is exist, the like data A should be returned to your program. And then that data are stored RS, the variable. The variable data types a result set. The class, but you don't have to understand the full. Just send query, and then if there is a data, the result is assigned to variable RS. Okay, and then so here we try to get all data. For example, number, salesperson number, name, commission percentage, year of hire, office number. There are the 5 columns. So using the next iterate the method. This is a class, RS is a class. And then get from this, the RS returned value, extract, split. What is the salesperson number, salesperson name, commission, year of hire, and office number. And each split data are assigned to integer, number, name, percentage, year of hire, office number, and print here like this. Okay. So it will be iterated. For example, if the table there are 5 rows, iterate 5 times until the end of the line. Okay. So the others are just, there's the important part. And then when you run, it's working. Then your program get the result and then print it in your program like this. This is a basic, the Java program with the database, MySQL. Make sense? A little bit difficult? No? So maybe if you are familiar with the Java program, you can easily understand this one. Okay, this is a one way to connect the database using the Java. And more simple one is, okay, about the Python. Python also we can use to connect the DB and then retrieve the data. So for Java, we download JDBC from the MySQL site, and then include it into your project. But SQL, I don't know. So Python is a little bit terminal. Easy. Just copy this command. That is install the JDBC and not the driver. Those kind of the package to your Python IDE. Okay. Here now you have the Python language. It's a DB. And by executing this command, so kind of the bridge, the package and or the driver library is installed to your the Visual Studio Code. Okay, more simple. You don't have to download and then set the path like in the Java. Just install. Okay, and then so the first example is to create Python program to get data from general hardware database, connect general hardware database, and then get customer number, customer name, salesperson number, headquarters city for customer table, and then print. Okay. So go to the code. See. First of all, we have to import MySQL to connect library like that. Okay. So you already have the Visual Studio Code in your machine, right? Okay. And then this part, try to connect to the database. Host is localhost. Localhost means my machine. Okay. So localhost, user, root, password, 1234. And then what is the database? It's the database name, general hardware. With those arguments, I'd like to connect from your Python program to general hardware database. We can use the connect method. This connect method is from MySQL connector module. Okay. And then create cursor. So using cursor, we are able to send query and execute the comment statement. So create cursor and then create query. Select all. Which one? Yeah. So cursor means to get the control, to manipulate or to send query, to execute something. So we need kind of control. So this statement is to get the control from to the database. After that, we have to send the query. So create query, select all data from customer table. It's a string. So SQL, the query. You can send the SQL underscore query to using execute method using cursor. Cursor means control. Okay. That means this statement means this next query I'd like to send to the database, general hardware. Okay. After that, maybe if the data is existed, we have to return some data from the table, customer table, by calling fetch all method. And then result assigned to the variable result. Okay. Here, the customer table like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 columns. Customer number, customer name, salesperson number, headquarter city. 4 columns. So the result using the for loop means in a customer table, there are a couple of rows here. And then read the first row. There are 4 columns. And each column is split into and assigned to variable customer number, name, salesperson number, headquarter city. And then print, go to the next row, then split, print, go to the next row until the end of the line. This is a for loop. Okay. So after that, you run your program, connect to the customer table in general hardware, the DB, and then get the result like that. Make sense? Something wrong? Let me know. Nico, working? Okay, next example using the Python. So the second example, create Python program to get data from general database, connect general hardware database, and then find the name of the salesperson responsible for customer. So salesperson and then customer. To print this result, think about that. How many tables we need? 2 tables. One is salesperson table, and the other one is customer table. How can we combine 2 tables? Using join statement, right? So okay. First of all, import MySQL.connector library, and then connect to the general hardware, the DB, the same, localhost root 1234, and general hardware, the DB. And then get the control by calling cursor the method. And then create query. Select customer name, salesperson name. So I'd like to get 2 columns, salesperson name and customer name from salesperson table. And then we have to combine two tables, salesperson and the customer, using join customers. And then, to join, we need to add condition with condition. So this salesperson table, and then the foreign key salesperson number in a customer should be matched. Okay. Yes. We create query. This string query is assigned to variable SQL query and send this query to database. After that, when DBMS receives this query, doing something, performing some processing, the join processing to find the matched value. And then we have to get the result by calling fetch all the method. And then result is assigned to variable result. But in this result, how many columns? 1 and 2 columns. So each row is split two parts, customer name and salesperson number. Why? The query is customer name and then salesperson name. Two columns in a row. And then print. Then iterate the end of the line. So after that, when you run, you have the output, customer name, Main Street Hardware, salesperson Baker, ABC Home Stores, Baker, and Central Store, Adams, XYZ Store, Carriel, and so on, like this. So you create a Python program and then install the library to connect to your DB. So first of all, create established connection to the DB. And then using your ID and then password. And then get some control by using cursor method. And then send a query by using execute method. After that, get the result from the DB fetch all method. So here we have the object to return the value from your DB. And then just iterate and then print. So we're gonna have this kind of result. Make sense? Or will be tricky? No? Yes. So Mac on campus is all right? It's good? Okay. So next is I'd like to give a practice question. So this task is create a Python program to join two tables, users table and the product table. Then, so this FAV, maybe the favorite, and then the ID, this is a foreign key and this is a primary key. So to print user's name and the product name, we have to join two tables, users and product, using that column, favorite, and then ID. Okay. So in order to do that, first of all, you should create database first, right? Okay. So again, so try this one, the remaining time. First of all, create a database using the MySQL Workbench. Okay. Maybe what is called MyDB, whatever the name, you can name whatever you want. And then create tables, users tables, and then product table. And what's the next? We create table, and then we have to insert data. How many data here? It's a 5 rows and 3 rows. You have to insert the data to, to users, and then product. Okay, and then create query to join. So create query to join query, users and the product table, and then print the result. Okay. So if we go to the D2L module 8, you can find example 1 and then example 2, the Python file. So download and then please repo this file to do this task. Okay. So if you create the database and the table and then insert the data, you can use MySQL Workbench, or you can use the Python program. Okay. So let me show how to create database first. The first step, you can create the database, import the library, MySQL.connector, and then connect to where? To database, but the database is not created yet. Okay. So first of all, we just send the username and the password. After that, this is called the MyDB. After that, get the control from the MyDB, object, and then this is a query to create the database. But for me, I use my database too. This is my DB name, my database too. When you execute this code, your Python program connect to the DBMS, MySQL DBMS, and then create my database to the DB. After that, you can create a table, insert data, then create the join query, and get the result, and then print. And try. Now let me know if you are if you have problem. One. Oh, but MySQL, you have the MySQL, right? Uh, mhm. So you didn't set the password in your. Can you open the MySQL Workbench? Okay, it's closed. Okay, and then reopen. So right click. So here, right click and then quit. Or can you do force quit? Okay, select that one. Yeah, anyway, you didn't set the password. That's why if you add the password info, it causes error. The, the, the DBMS trying to match maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, but my general hardware, there's no password. So it's not matched. That's a cause error. But if you comment the password statement, no password and no pass, it's good. That's why it's working. But if you set the password in your MySQL, maybe you have to uncomment the statement. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, can you download? You download. So okay. Mhm. This is the Java. Okay, sorry. Can I delete? No, not delete. Closed. Folder. Save. Example. You can create some test. Not just temporary. Create a temporary the folder. Maybe you can delete later. So maybe CSCI3245. This is a working folder and select working folder desktop here. Okay. And then download maybe here and to C and maybe just drag and drop there. Oh, okay. So, you didn't install that one. So can you go to the PowerPoint D12? Okay. Module 8. ADBC. So that command is to install MySQL.connector, the library. Let's copy. Where is it? The code. Yeah. And then the terminal. Paste. So this not found the Python. Maybe okay. So that means MySQL connector, the driver is installing. So successfully installed. So file save module MySQL. What? Yup. Installed. Where is this one? Okay, it's folder. Okay, so gone. It's going. It's hard. Takes time. Okay, let's take a look at the code. So first of all, as I said, we have to create the database. Okay, so create database, my database 2. Just a second, from the scratch. Join, delete. So here is my SQL workbench. Refresh. There's no my database 2, so DB here. No my database. Okay. Then the first of all, create my database 2 using this code. So run, then check and see the my database 2 is created. But when you open, nothing, no table, only database itself is created. And the next, the create tables. How many tables do we have? 2. Can you understand this code? Import the library and then connect to the my database 2. Root 1, 2, 3, 4, and database name is my database 2. After that, get the control using cursor, the methods, and send the query. What kind of query? To create tables. So create table, which table? Users table and the product table, right? So users, how many columns? 1, 2, 3, ID, name, favorite, right? ID, name, and favorite. And then we have to specify data type, ID, integer, name, character, size of 255 byte, and favorite, integer. This is query to create the users. Similarly, product table. The product table, ID and name, 2 columns. ID is integer and name is variable character. So when you run something done, go to the workbench, refresh, product table, and then users tables are created. But there's no data, only the empty tables are created, users and product. After that, we have to insert maybe this one a little bit tricky part, but it's okay. It's the same. This part is the same to connect DB. And then, so this is a query to add, insert the data into users table. Insert into users table. So there are 3 columns, ID, name, favorite. ID, name, favorite. And what kind of values? So this is a formatter, okay? And then this is a values. So ID 1, name John, favorite 154, 2, Peter 154, 3, Amy, Hannah, Michael, in each the favorite number. And then this query and then values using execute many method and then commit. Commit means to finalize. I execute this command and finally done. Okay. And similarly, create the query, insert into product, ID and name, 2 values. ID, chocolate heaven, 55, tasty lemons, vanilla dreams, like this. Then execute query and its values to the table, and then finalized by calling commit method. So when we run execute this code, so there is okay, 5 rows are inserted and 3 rows are inserted. So check the data. Select like that. And this part is the same. Here is the same. And then query, what kind of query? I'd like to print all columns from users table by calling execute method. And then fetch all to get all the data from the table. And then print using for loop. Similarly, select all from product, get all the data, and then print. So when I run, have 1 John, 154, 2 Peter, 3 Amy, Hannah, Michael, chocolate, tasty, and vanilla. We got the data. Okay. After that, the goal is to print what? User's name and what is this? The product name. So in order to do that, we have to combine the join two tables. So create the join query like this. It's the same part. And this is a join query. Print user's name, product name from users table, join product. Two tables are combined. And then condition is favorite should be matched ID. You know that this is a SQL statement. And then send, execute the query, and then get the result. So this is a formatter to print fancy. And there are two columns, username and the product name. So the return value are split into name and favorite and the print like this. So after that, when I run, we have John, let me check. John 154 chocolate, Peter 154 chocolate, Amy 155 tasty lemon, Hannah Michael vanilla dreams. So here, John, Peter, chocolate heaven, Amy, tasty lemon, and Hannah, Michael, the vanilla. And finally, I don't need the table and the DB anymore. So delete DB, drop database, my database 2, and execute. So currently, data my database 2 DB. After running this code, something Yeah. My database two is deleted from DBMS. How's it going? It's boring. No, a little bit complicated. But if you're, so take a look at the code that I uploaded, the module 8, example 1 and example 2. Okay, so this is a basic the step using your programming language and then the DBMS. Okay. Okay, that's all that I have today. So any questions? Nothing? Okay, thank you. And then have a great day and see you next week. Okay, thank you. So thank you, Macon Campus. So do you have any questions or comments? Okay, well, thank you.